Welcome to the first episode, which of what will be a regular clip for you called the Friday Takeaway, which basically sums up the week's work, and it's just a way for me to get any other information or reminders to you. All right, so this week what we've focused on then is the key events in the life of Nero, just in order to get an idea of what sort of things he did, what happened to him, what happened during his reign, and sort of where they happen in relation to one another. This is a really important part of any investigation, is getting the big picture before we start drilling down to the more finer detail. So what we've got here then is just the key events from timeline activity and activity 1, arranged in the correct chronological order with the dates to show there to help organise our thinking over the next few weeks. Activity 2 was the documentary that I've got you to look at, which basically gives you a little bit more background information on those key events that you identified in activity 1, and also sort of focuses in on some of the more interesting or unusual aspects of his reign. So in completing this activity, what I got you to do was to also do a PMI analysis of Nero's life and times. And that is basically to help set up the idea that Nero is a pretty complex character, that even though he gets a really bad rap and has a terrible reputation because he was a pretty terrible person, he also did a lot of good things in various parts of his reign, okay? Particularly early on in his reign when he was younger and under the close control of Burrus and Seneca. So that traditional image of Nero that we get of him as like a monster and a tyrant comes to us from the evidence that we have of his reign. And that's what week 2's work is focusing on, is looking at the ancient sources, some of them primary, some of them secondary, but the ancient sources and what their opinions and views were of Nero, but also looking at why they may have had those ideas or presented Nero in that way. So that understanding of the nature of the sources and the background to the evidence that we use for our investigations is another important task that we need to do early in our investigation of any topic, individual or event in the ancient world. And that's a key part of studying either ancient or modern history at senior level. Rightio, so just a couple of a bit of administration and organisation points for you now. Okay, the first one of those involves communication. It is absolutely crucial that you let me know that you have received, read and understood any of the messages or posts that I've put up. Okay, this is really important so that I know that you're getting the things that you need to do and that everything's ticking along all right in your neck of the woods. If there's something that's stopping you from getting the work done, so you might be ill, there might be some other family issue, a family member might be ill and you've got to help look after them, that's fine, but just email me that information and let me know so I can, if there's some way that I can help you, I can do that. So that communication factor is really important to allow me to help you when you need it and try to help you as soon as you need that help, okay? Rightio. Next thing, completing set work. Myself and all of your subject teachers will be checking the progress of your work on Wednesdays and Fridays. I plan on doing that from about midday on Wednesday and Friday, all right? If there doesn't look as though you've done anything or you haven't done much, I'll be in touch with you and with your parents just to touch base to see if there's something that's stopping you from doing that work that we haven't known about. All right. With that work, please ensure that you are doing and completing that work in the class notes section of your OneNote. That's the section that I'm distributing the OneNote pages to. Hopefully this week we'll have a better week with that because you've downloaded that because I've already distributed it to you. And or you've synced your OneNote, that is. And the other thing is that linked in with that completing the set work is that I've got a short survey for you to complete concerning the work you're being set. Okay, the link for that is in the same podcast chat feed entry that you got this from. Okay. Rightio. Assessment. You'll get your assessment planners this week as well, and you'll see there that you've got 3 entries in that for ancient history. What we've done to make life a bit easier for you is to break up what would be your end of term task, and so we're breaking it down into 3 separate parts. So you'll do a response in week 5, a response in week 6, and you'll have an extended block of time in the exam block to finish off the last 2 questions of that paper. So we will then add all of those results together from the 4 questions, combined with a communication grade, and that will be your overall marks for the term. Okay, now finally, this is the test to see if you've made it right through to the very end. All right, so the word of the week this week is the word hippodrome. So we know that Nero was a keen chariot racing fan, and he wanted to be a charioteer. And in doing that, he would have raced in the hippodrome, which was an ancient Greek stadium for horse racing and chariot racing. So the first person to email me the word of the week in the subject line of the email will win something, most likely chocolate or some other sweet treat, depending on what your poison is. Okay, so that wraps it up for this week, guys. Thanks a lot for that. Please follow through on communication. Please be safe and look after yourself and your family. Be well.